Hello, everybody. Welcome to the film podcast at Beacon. Today, joining me as always is Jay Simonian and Charity Alfaya. I am Liam Newberry, and this week we watched Rashomon, the 1950 crime thriller directed by Akira Kurosawa about a man who is killed and the varying stories that surround his mysterious murder.
A man is killed and a woman is raped.
Well, yes,
Forgot
that
that
too.
part.
That's an important. That I should have mentioned that. That is a very important part of the plot.
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
It's not explicit rape.
No, it's
So-
not. They barely even mention it
Well, yeah,
No.
because of censorship.
back in the 1950s.
Yeah, 1950s Japan.
It's kind
no
of like
less.
implied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just implied
Yeah.
that she was raped.
So, I like this movie a lot. I really do. I thought it was really good. I've heard of it. I've never seen it before. We watched it in our film class by the wonderful Ms. Reeves, and I thought that having it set in in flashbacks and telling the story from the perspective of that is really good, because there are a lot of movies and books and TV shows, anything really, that try to implant the idea of an unreliable narrator, and it's a very interesting plot point that can be done really well, or it can be done very poorly. And I thought Rashomon is the ultimate example of it done very well. So,
It's also like that movie created so many things. That movie helped
Yeah.
inspire so many people
Yeah,
that
yeah,
gave
yeah.
us
It's like
so much
it's like
of it.
Frankenstein. Frankenstein was a cool book, yeah, but it was the starting point for science fiction in general. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of like that. I wanted to know what you guys thought about this. What did you think of the commoner, the woodcutter, and the monk that are in the beginning and interspersed throughout the film? Like, how do you view their
I
characters?
didn't view the monk as like his story. I didn't view it as very resourceful. I was like,
The
oh,
monk didn't tell a story.
he didn't?
No.
Oh.
The woodsman did.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
woodcutter.
the woodsman.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
The woodcutter.
I was like, his story
Which
is
story was that?
the last one.
Oh, the realistic one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was the one that was supposed to be objective, but it wasn't.
With like the two guys fighting terribly.
And
Yeah,
They
that
didn't
was
know how to
that was
fight.
great. That was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. I didn't like that story. I was like, this story is obviously fake. This is a fake story. This guy is lying.
I thought that
I love that story.
Takashi Shimura, who played the woodcutter, I thought that he was one of the better actors in that movie. And Ms. Reeves said this when we were watching it. It's the director, Akira Kurosawa, told his actors to purposefully overact. And I
Yeah.
thought that was kind of strange, because he wanted to replicate the feel of the silent films. But I thought that it's such a dialogue-heavy movie. It's about a trial.
Yeah.
So why would you want it to be rooted in the silent film era? That seems kind of strange, because it's not silent.
No.
It's just attempting to capture the idea of silent films. And I thought that was a strange directorial choice. Why do you think that he chose to do that?
I think it was just personal preference. I think he
Yeah.
got so
Yeah.
much inspiration from the silent films that he's just like, this is new. Dialogue is new to movies, so it's going to be heavy on dialogue, but I want it to kind of have that aspect of a silent film.
Yeah, well, I mean, remember, this was made in 1950, so he would have been, that would have been the type of movie he grew up with. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Silent film. So I guess it does make sense if he wants to sort of recapture that feeling.
At first I thought it was really, really boring and like
Oh,
dumb.
I love that movie.
But
The beginning.
as it went on, I found it kind of like good and strange.
Strange how?
Because
Like
of
Joe
the
Pesci.
overreaction. Because of the overreacting of the laughing of the bandit.
Yeah.
the laughing of the bandit, I thought that was like
Yeah.
hilarious
Hey, the
and
woman,
really
the woman
weird.
laughed even weirder than the bandit.
Oh
did. You
yeah,
remember
yeah,
that?
yeah.
It's a crazy laughing segment.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. The fighting scene was my favorite part because it was just like very overreacting and like
Yeah,
so
well, it was-
anticlimactic.
It's funny because it was a comedic moment in a very not a film that is very much not a comedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I think that having those moments of comic relief is important, but at the same time they felt weirdly placed. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
Very oddly placed.
yeah, it's a short film. It's like less than 90 minutes. And it chose to put the comic relief not as like not in the it puts them in the very high tense moments, so it kind of breaks the tension. And that's not really the comic relief is just sort of supposed to make you calm down after the tension's over. And that's why I thought it was kind of a
Oddly done.
Yeah.
Very oddly
Yeah.
done.
But not necessarily bad, just
No.
yeah.
Odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also good.
I was so another question I had about it is the rain. The rain that is so separates the the scenes, because as we said, it's told entirely in flashbacks, and the segments in which it's raining are the parts in which it's the modern day where they're talking about what happened. And I thought there's something really, I don't know, hypnotic about the rain in those shots. I mean, like, rain can be a very effective tool in filmmaking, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that the use of rain, it was strangely like it closed them off from the rest of the world. Like they were under the bridge, and there's like this own little part of the world, and it also like really soothed you in a way, even though it was very intense rain. It was like
hardcore rain.
Hardcore rain. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm wondering if they just like they got a rain machine, or maybe they just shot it during a hurricane.
I'm pretty sure they shot it during a hurricane.
Oh yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I
a
like
machine
the
would
rain.
make sense.
Yeah, me too. It was like added to the story. Like added to like the.
It wasn't
Like-
only like used for the flashbacks, but
Yeah.
also it was the after trauma of this big event of a
Yeah,
man
yeah.
getting
Yeah.
killed, a woman
It's sort
getting
of-
raped. It was
It
like,
adds to it.
yeah.
It symbolizes this sort of overarching power that these stories have, and sort of rain is also known as a very, like we were talking to Ms. Byrne, the English honors class has been studying symbolism, literary symbolism, and rhetoric, and rain is used as a method of washing something away. Eventually the the rain stops at the end after the commoner has not the commoner, the woodsman, who we told earlier, we definitely said is not an objective view, after he walks away holding a baby.
I did not get that baby
I
at all.
I
don't
thought
get
it was
it.
great symbolism.
Yeah,
What is the symbolism? I don't get it.
it's
I
washing
didn't
him
get-
like the man takes somebody abandoned their baby,
Yeah, I know that.
so
part.
he takes responsibility for it. It proves that man is inherently good. And so he
Okay.
takes the baby, he walks into the rain, and it washes him and absolves him of his sin while holding this baby. I think that's a very, very symbolic, very powerful moment in the film.
And also for the fact that, like, once the rain stopped, the man is holding the baby, and he's like, you gave me faith in humanity again.
Yeah.
You gave me faith in man.
Yeah, that's true. The monk
Yeah.
when, so the rain not only symbolizes washing away the sin, the rain is the monk's, like, dissolution with his philosophy. Because he's a Buddhist, and the Buddhists believe that there is inherent good in man, which is the whole point. And so this trial, which the monk repeatedly says has caused him to lose his faith in the human soul, when the rain stops, he's regained it. So I think that the rain is probably my favorite technique used in that film. I thought it was really, really powerful. I really liked the way Akira
The thing
Kurosawa
I didn't
used it.
understand was at the end when, like, they're talking about which story is unreliable and everything, and the commoner leaves, so it's just the monk and the woodcutter. How does the monk know that the woodcutter isn't lying about having 7 kids?
That's true.
He doesn't, but can you just sort of, like, can't you believe in man enough to know that he's not lying about having 6 kids, I think. But, like, he's not lying about having kids, you know what I mean?
No, I
Like, that was a pretty common thing, to have 6 or 7 kids back then, you know what I mean?
I mean, I wouldn't trust him.
Really?
Personally,
You wouldn't trust him?
I don't trust the woodcutter. His
That's a
story.
very cynical point of view, Jay.
I loved the commoner.
I'm leaning more towards the J.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Alright.
I loved the
I
commoner.
would have kept the baby and like took care of it myself. To be honest.
That's the monk?
I would have kept
I
it.
was surprised that he didn't take responsibility for the baby, because I would
Yeah.
have thought that monk, like, the people used to drop their kids off at monasteries when they didn't want them.
Yeah.
Like, that was a thing that happened regularly. So the fact that there was a monk there is just kind of convenient. I would have expected to go to them, but the fact that the woodcutter took it, I think, is very important to the overarching symbolism and the message of the movie. Which,
Yeah.
yeah. What do you think? Which of the stories, and this is a question I've been asking a lot of people because I'm very curious, which of the stories do you think is closest to the truth?
Well, so the first story was.
The first story was the bandits, in which he gives the man a chance to live. He fights the man one-on-one. They cross swords 23 times, which, like, the bandit is impressed by, but he eventually kills him.
Okay. What was the second one?
The second one was the lady, in which she
Right.
says that
The
she
husband
killed.
just kind of.
Yeah, the husband like hated her, so she killed him and then killed herself or tried to kill herself. The third one is the man who was murdered, who speaks through a medium.
Yeah. The shaman. Oh my
Shaman,
god, I
yeah.
hated that.
I
She was
hated
super-
her. I hated. No, I didn't like it at all.
I liked it. It was
The point
creatively
is-
done.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
but it-
artistically. It
yeah.
was a good
It just
artistic
creeped me
scene,
out
but it was
a little
creepy. Yeah.
Like her eyebrows. No.
Well, that's I think traditional.
I know it
That
is.
was
Yeah.
that was Japanese beauty back then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know it was, but it was just no.
Point being,
No.
anyway, the point being, he speaks through a medium, and he says that, like, the bandit just sort of ran off, and
The girl wanted them to
he,
fight
and
later,
the,
right?
yeah, the girl wanted,
Yeah.
yeah, and so he commits suicide, and then the last one was, but he might have been, the point of that one is how reliable can it be, because A, it's a ghost, and B,
Yeah.
he might be lying to retain the woman's honor. And then the last one is the woodcutter who saw the two men who could barely fight, like making fools of each other over this girl who, declares that one of them must die.
Yeah. In
and
order
then,
to get her.
And then the bandit kills a man and she runs away. And so all these stories, they each portray in each story, the person who tells the story is the one who killed the man. So it's a question of, except for the woodcutter, of course, who in his story he took the dagger out of his chest.
Yeah.
So he didn't kill him, but he took the dagger out
Yeah.
afterwards. So the question is, which of these stories do you think is closest to the truth?
I think the bandits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the one that makes some sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because the woodcutters doesn't make any sense to me, because he's a samurai and he's a renowned bandit. Like, this dude is obviously famous.
Yeah.
Like, everybody there knows him. They know the name Tajimaru. Like, it's a
And-
famous bandit name. So
Yeah.
obviously he's not incompetent.
The only thing that made sense in the woodcutter story was the lady freaking out because she seems
Yeah.
like so overdramatic
I
and the
think
type
she
of
seems.
person
I
to
think
do
she's
Yeah.
crazy. I
Yeah.
really do. I
yeah,
think she
yeah,
lost
definitely. Yeah, she's crazy.
it.
I think the bandit story makes more sense to me. I think that
I'd
one's
say,
the truth.
I'd say that's probably closest to the
Yeah,
truth.
I agree.
I don't think the shaman is reliable at all.
No.
No,
Yeah.
no.
I personally I believe in mediums and stuff like that, but no.
I don't. So
I know
Yeah,
you
I don't
don't.
either.
Well,
Well,
I believe in all that stuff.
all right. Well, I think that'll about do it. I think we all would highly recommend Rashomon,
Yeah?
right?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
movie.
don't fall asleep during the beginning.
No,
Like
don't.
Jeffco.
I did.
Um,
I did a
did
little bit. Yeah.
Jay.
I fell
Yeah.
asleep during.
Jay fell asleep on me.
There was like 4 people in my class that fell asleep.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a
I
good
was-
movie.
I was
didn't
so
find it
close
boring at all.
falling
This
asleep.
series was like, did you guys find that boring? I'm like, no, that was great. I don't.
I
Yeah,
mean,
but you're you.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
that's
Well, with
true.
that, I
That's
think
true.
it's time to go. Maybe I'm losing my faith. All right.
Good faith in humanity.
Go see Rashomon. Goodbye, everybody.